Hello, I am Tajinder P. Grover and welcome to Grover Political TV, the unbiased and fair reporting on international affairs. Today we talk about North Korea's dictator Kim Jong Un and his threat to world peace. North Korea, officially known as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea or DPRK, is one of the most secretive nations on earth. It was born from the ashes of World War II and the Korean War, divided by ideology and blood. While South Korea embraced democracy and development, the North Korea turned into an isolated fortress ruled by one family, the Kims. Kim Il-sung, the founding leader, built his power on a mix of nationalism, fear, and absolute control. He created a personality cult that portrayed him as a godlike figure, the eternal president. His image still dominates every wall, every school, every public space in North Korea. When he died, power passed to his son Kim Jong Il and then to his grandson Kim Jong Un. Three generations, one dynasty controlling an entire nation through propaganda, isolation, and brutal suppression. The regime's core ideology, Zuk, claims self-reliance, but in truth it's about total obedience. Citizens live under constant surveillance. There is no internet, no free press, and no freedom of speech. Defectors describe horrifying stories of prison camps, public execution, and famine, where loyalty to the leader is more important than life itself. North Korea calls itself a People's Republic, but in reality it is a military dictatorship obsessed with weapons and power. The Hermit Kingdom spends billions on its army while its people starve. It has one of the world's largest standing militaries, over 1 million soldiers, and a government that believes survival depends on nuclear weapons. The world watches, but inside the sealed borders of North Korea, truth is a crime and silence is survival. In 2011, a young man in his late 20s inherited one of the most feared regimes on earth, Kim Jong Un. At first, the world underestimated him, but within years, Kim proved that he was not just his father's successor, he was more dangerous. He accelerated missile programs, carried out nuclear tests, and openly threatened global powers. The regime now claims to possess intercontinental ballistic missiles capable of striking the US mainland. Kim's message to the world is simple: fear me, neglect me, and I will remind you of my power. Under Kim, propaganda reached new heights. Massive parades in Pyongyang display missiles and tanks. Citizens cry on command. Children are taught to worship him as a divine ruler. Behind the scenes, the cost of these displays is enormous. Reports suggest that while Kim spends billions on nuclear development, his citizens face severe shortage of food and medicine. The 1990s famine killed hundreds of thousands, and today the situation remains desperate. But for Kim, nuclear weapons are the only guarantee of his regime's survival. He saw what happened to Saddam Hussein in Iraq and Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, both leaders who gave up their nuclear ambitions. Kim believes his missile or his shields. To the outside world, his actions look irritational, but they follow a clear pattern: provoke, negotiate, extract concession, and repeat. Whenever North Korea tests a missile, global headlines turn to Pyongyang. Kim uses these moments to bargain for aid, sanction relief, diplomatic attention. China quietly supports him to prevent instability near its border. Russia occasionally cooperates for strategic reasons, and the West, caught between deterrence and diplomacy, struggles to find a lasting solution. Each missile that flies over the seas of Japan isn't just a test, it's a warning. North Korea is saying, you can't ignore us. North Korea threat is no longer confined to Korean Peninsula, it's a global challenge, a ticking time bomb for world peace. For decades, the international community has tried sanctions, negotiation, and peace talks. The United Nations imposed multiple rounds of sanctions, banning weapons trade, restriction oil imports, freezing assets, yet North Korea continues to find ways around them through cybercrime, smuggling, and illicit trade. The country's hackers are among the most sophisticated in the world. They have stolen billions in cryptocurrency and launched cyber attacks on banks, businesses, and even hospitals worldwide. The digital battlefield has become another weapon in Kim Jong un's arsenal. Diplomatic efforts have had brief moments of hope, like the historic meetings between Kim Jong un and US President Donald Trump in 2018 and 2019. But those talks ended without results. Kim returned to his old path: missile launches, military parades, and threats. Meanwhile, ordinary North Koreans remain trapped in silence, suffering from power, malnutrition, and fear. The regime's obsession with weapons has made the entire region, from Seoul to Tokyo, live under the shadows of constant danger. Even a small miscalculation, a single spark, could ignite a devastating war. And yet, amidst the tensions, one truth remains: North Korea's isolation is both its greatest weapon and its greatest weakness. Its leadership thrives on fear, but its people quietly long for peace, freedom, and connection with the world. The global community faces a difficult question: how to stop a dictator who doesn't fear its isolation and who uses nuclear power as insurance for his rule. The solution isn't simple, it lies in collective global action, like stronger international unity against nuclear proliferation, coordinated diplomacy between the US, China, Russia, South Korea, and Japan, and above all, hope for a future where the Korean Peninsula is no longer divided by war and ideology. Until that day, North Korea remains the world's most unpredictable threat, a nation where silence hides suffering and power hides fear. The question is not whether the world can afford to act, but whether it can afford not to. Thanks for watching Grover Political TV. Do comments, like, share, and subscribe